Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday, August 26th. Corpus Christi City Council meets today at City Hall. On the agenda is a presentation on an update for alternative water supply projects. Two Corpus Christi City Council votes tied to the Inner Harbor Water Treatment Campus were recently rescheduled for next Tuesday. The full meeting agenda as well as public comment session signups are available at corpuschristitx.gov. And on that note, yesterday, San Patricio County Commissioners signed a resolution opposing the Evangeline groundwater project proposed by the city of Corpus Christi. The project, which would draw 25 million gallons of water daily from the Evangeline aquifer in San Patricio County, has concerned community members who attended the commissioners' court meeting to vocally oppose it. Corpus Christi City Council had previously approved a draft agreement for a $169 million groundwater deal aimed at boosting the city's future water supply. The proposed plan would draw water from the Evangeline aquifer in San Patricio County. Initially, that project would deliver up to 12 million gallons per day, with potential to double that amount in the future. Beeville City Manager John Benson will resign from his position, marking the second major shakeup in city leadership in the span of a week. His last day with the city is scheduled for September 8th. Benson has served as city manager since February of 2020. Benson stated in his letter of resignation that he is retiring. Last week, the city terminated Police Chief Kevin Baer following a complaint of misconduct submitted to the city of Beeville. Kingsville City Commissioners voted 3-2 yesterday to hire an attorney to represent the city and 3 commissioners in a recall election lawsuit. The lawsuit was filed by Selena Tejerina of Kingsville to get a district judge to enforce the city to abide by the charter and fix a date for a recall election. They also appointed Charlie Sosa as the new city manager in a 4-1 vote yesterday. The voting on the city manager appointment drew criticism from residents who questioned how the item was handled on the meeting agenda. One resident pointed out there was no name on the item and not considered to be an executive session. Commissioner Edna Lopez told KRAS News that Kingsville hired a professional search firm to find the next city manager, which cost taxpayers $16,000. The city was presented with a total of 12 applicants. They ultimately hired Sosa. Lopez said that Sosa did not apply for the job, resulting in a deviation of established application procedures. Sosa had been serving as interim city manager after Mark McLaughlin resigned this past November. McAllen Mayor Javier Villalobos told KRGV the city is getting help from the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission to look into increasing the age limit to enter a bar downtown. The city started looking into the age limit increase after 2 teens were arrested Sunday in connection with the assault of a police officer in downtown McAllen. 17-year-old Alexander Flores and 18-year-old Sergio Sandoval were arrested following the assault.
I think they have been doing things that maybe they weren't supposed to, maybe allowing minors. We're going to crack down on that.
That was Mayor Villalobos speaking with KRGV. A workshop to discuss the age increase is scheduled for Friday at noon at McAllen City Hall. Flight 10 of Starship S-37 and Super Heavy B-16 was scrubbed again yesterday, this time due to weather. At 6:58 p.m. Monday, the countdown stopped with 40 seconds left in the window for a launch. What was intended to be a launch instead became a wet dress rehearsal in which the ship is fully loaded with propellant, but no engines are ignited. Sunday's launch was scrubbed because of an issue with ground systems, according to SpaceX. Another attempt is expected to be made today with a 6:30 p.m. launch window. A burn ban is now in effect for DeWitt County as of 6 p.m. yesterday. The DeWitt County Commissioners Court issued a 90-day burn ban set to expire on November 23rd. Outdoor burning is now prohibited in the county's unincorporated areas. Anyone who violates the order face a Class C misdemeanor charge and fines of up to $500. The newest guidelines from the American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology for maintaining good blood pressure contain a lot of familiar recommendations about diet and exercise, but also bad news for consumers of alcohol. Sam Baker talks about this and other changes in this installment of KERA's Vital Signs with Dr. Brandy Williams of Texas Health, Stephenville.
Instead of blood pressures greater than 140/90, now we're really looking at 130/80. And for those patients that don't have heart disease or other risk factors for heart disease, those blood pressures can be monitored a little longer, and we can really initiate lifestyle changes for 3 to 6 months and look at those blood pressures again.
Wasn't there an emphasis on trying to get to 130 before?
So the 130/80 before were really on those patients who already had clinical heart disease, has history of a stroke, diabetes, or kidney disease. And those recommendations still really stand.
But now what? We're recommending it now for broader group.
A little bit broader of a group for those patients who are older, those patients who have a lower cardiovascular risk score. We're still going to keep a closer eye on them. And anyone greater than 130/80, we're going to initiate lifestyle changes for 3 to 6 months and check those blood pressures again.
Lifestyle changes such as
the DASH diet, so reducing the sodium intake and increasing dietary potassium. Want to adopt moderate physical activity program and trying to manage stress. Those are all things that help bring down the blood pressure.
There was an emphasis this time around on lower sodium intake, even recommending the use of, and I had not heard of these before, potassium-rich substitutes.
Correct. Yeah, we've really seen that the increase in salt in the American diet has really led to higher blood pressures, and we want to decrease that salt intake, trying to eat more things like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fish and poultry. A lot of those things will include the daily potassium you need, period. But, really you don't want to increase the potassium unless you talk to your doctor, because if you have kidney disease or things like that, you don't want to increase that without asking first.
The guidelines used to say 2 drinks for men, 1 for women. Now it's no alcohol.
So they really found that alcohol contributes a lot to high blood pressure. We're even finding that alcohol contributes to dementia. So instead of the recommendations in the past that you could have some moderation of alcohol, it's now recommended that you abstain from alcohol completely.
That's quite a change. I mean, at one time, weren't we saying, well, alcohol could be good for digestion and it had other benefits, but now there's been a change of mind.
Now, they may be beneficial for other medical specialties or organs, but really talking about high blood pressure, we found that taking in the alcohol really increases the blood pressure too much, and it makes it hard to manage the blood pressure.
So if you're really wanting to maintain a good blood pressure, keep that in check, what should you remember to do?
Stay active, eat a diet rich in fruits and vegetables, whole grains, fish and poultry. Try to stay on the low sugar, low fat diet. We want to also emphasize that patients that are pregnant or planning to become pregnant, make sure they keep a close eye on their blood pressure and have close follow-ups with their doctors as well.
That was the latest episode of Vital Signs featuring Dr. Brandy Williams of Texas Health, Stephenville. As the finalization date nears, Texas A&M University Victoria has begun removing University of Houston Victoria signage. New signs are expected to be installed in about 7 months, according to Matt Alexander, Director of Capital Projects and Construction. Alexander told 25 News Now a design team will be brought in to create the new signs, but temporary banners will be used in the meantime. The transition from UHV to TAM-UV began on June 1st, following the signing of Senate Bill 2361 by Governor Greg Abbott. It is set to be finalized this Monday. And in sports, soccer is a globally dominant sport, and it's no exception to the college scene in South Texas. Joe Smichael speaks to some of the region's elite women's collegiate teams.
Soccer is the world's most popular sport, and there is plenty of high-level collegiate soccer playing in South Texas. The Islanders in Corpus Christi, the Jaguars in Victoria, and the Vaqueros in the Rio Grande Valley. We had a chance to speak with some of the coaches about the season. Second-year Texas A&M Islanders coach Daniel Klitnovich.
No, we're really excited. Obviously, a Division I program, soccer program here in Corpus Christi with the university. Last season, we had some success with both on and off the field, and had a lot of program first winning season, and a whole bunch of other accolades. Finished second in conference as well. I think the best finish previously was fifth. It's always been a good program. We haven't come in and totally made it the best program, but we're working towards that. We're working really hard excited about this season. We're a young team, got a lot of younger players. We did graduate a large senior class last year that really contributed to our success, both on and off the field. We're going to miss those ladies for sure. But again, we're young this year. We've already had a couple of games recently tied at the University of New Mexico at home. They're a really strong program, and for us to keep up with them and hold our own was pretty positive.
Victoria Jaguars first-year coach Kimberly Utrecht appreciates her team's home talent.
I will say this, there is so much talent in Texas. While we do have a very international team, being that we have representation from all over the world, I absolutely have to give a shout out to Texas. Lots of really, really talented players, and we just love, having those players available to us because Texas soccer is just so strong on the women's side. Very nice to be able to just go into our backyard like Corpus or in the Valley and find some really, really strong quality players who can just bring a lot to the game for us. We're on the road. We're scrimmaging at Texas A&M International, but our first official home game and our first game is August 30th at 1 p.m.
It should be an exciting women's soccer season. For KEDT News, Joe Smeichel.
And I'm Rob Boskamp with the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.